The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions. Nationwide, they don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put into your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, and you can get your mortgage calculator. It's right there. It's for free. Now, what did rates do yesterday? They were all down. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.816. Jumbo 30-year fix, 7.003. FHA 30-year fix, 6.525. VA 30-year fix, 6.4. The USDA rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.485. Every one of them was down. It was a clean sweep. If you're thinking about wanting to know where the markets are going right now, what our thoughts are, each and every business day morning, as early as the data allows, we do put out our report, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. We sent out the report earlier today, so if you haven't got that, you can just send us a note, rj@ronsiegelradio.com, rj@ronsiegelradio.com, and we can get that to you. Let's see what the markets are doing right now. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 333. The S&P is up 77.69. And the NASDAQ is up 328 points. Oil down 2 cents a barrel. And then now let's take a look over at what the treasuries are doing. We've got the 10-year treasury. That one's down 6 basis points right now. And we've got the mortgage-backed security. That one's going up. Now, remember, when we talk about the bond going up, that means interest rates are down. That bond is up 32 basis points right now. Very, very nicely in the right direction. So we're always happy to see that. And let's see, why are you listening to us? It's not for all that stuff that's on the super secret website, google.com. Actually, now you can probably find all that easier on ChatGPT. But it's not going to go over the why. Why are these things happening? Well, stocks, mortgage bonds, both higher so far this morning. Latest economic data has both been showing more signs of anemic growth and a potential recession if we're not already in one. Remember, the silver lining of a recession or recession-like conditions is that the economy slows, inflation falls, and mortgage rates always decline. Can't forecast can't guarantee the future, but we can tell you historically, always decline. Existing home sales measures closings on existing homes was weaker than expected and showed a decline in activity. Things like realtor commissions are directly plugged into GDP and is another item that would point to flat or negative growth. Existing home sales fell 5.9% in March to 4.02 million unit annualized pace, which was worse than the negative 3% expected. Previous report for February was revised slightly higher from 4.2 to 4.4, but today's report was a miss. This report likely measures people shopping for homes in January and February when rates were higher. Sales in the West fell the most due to the fires, which likely postponed closings. The homes there are relatively higher in price, which impacted the median home price a bit. According to Diana Olick, and you know that Diana Olick is never correct when it comes to housing.
Such an idiot. Such an idiot.
You would have thought prices declined, and as she said, the drop in pace of sales and an increase in inventory is causing a chill to home prices. Yet the median home prices rose 1.7% in March to $403,700, and also happened to be the highest March on record. Year over year, median prices rose 2.7%. It's also important to note that this measures the middle price homes sold, not appreciation. Another component that Olick made a big deal about was inventory, which rose 8.1% last month to 1.33 million units. It's also up 20% from last year, which sounds like a lot. For perspective, we had a chart that I'm going to share later on social media, and the inventory levels are still near the lowest point in the last 26 years, well below the pre-pandemic years of 2015 to 2020. It's almost 3 million less than the overall supply during the housing bubble. Putting together the pace of sales inventory, there's a 4-month supply of homes, which was higher than 3.5% in February, but less than a more balanced market at 4.6 months. Houses remained on the market for 36 days on average, down from 42 days in February. 21% of homes sold above the list price, which was down from 29% last year. First-time home buyers made up 32% of transactions, up from 31% in February, unchanged from March. Cash buyers accounted for 26%, while investors made up 15%, both in line with levels seen last year. Durable goods orders, which measures larger durable purchases in the U.S., rose a whopping 9.2% in March, which was much stronger than the 2% rise expected. This figure was anticipated to come in hot because orders front-running the tariffs. The headline jump of 9.2% was all due to a 139% rise in non-defense aircraft orders. But when you strip out transportation, the reading was 0%, which was weaker than the 0.3% expected and is another sign of anemic growth. Core durable goods was reported at 0.1%, lower than the 0.2% expected. Core shipments, which gets directly plugged into GDP, came in at a negative 0.9% and should cause further downward revisions. Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammack spoke on CNBC this morning and made some interesting comments. She said that uncertainty over the tariffs is weighing on businesses and their planning. She said that the Fed does not yet know what trade policy will do to the economy and thinks it's a good moment to take time and ensure we are moving in the right direction. On rate cuts, she said that she enters every meeting with an open mind, which likely means she's open to cutting rates anytime if it makes sense. Hammack explained that the Fed can be preemptive in cutting rates ahead of a recession once the economy's direction is more clear. She also emphasized that the Fed can move quickly if it needs to. She said there may be scenarios where the Fed would need to add temporary liquidity. Nothing would prevent them from using their tools of buying treasuries. Fed's Beige Book was also released and captured the impact of tariffs based on the timing of conversations. Of the 12 Fed districts, 5 saw little growth, 3 experienced flat growth, and 4 reported modest decline in growth. This sounds like a flatline GDP figure to us, which is in line with what the Atlanta Fed is predicting. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time rose 6,000 to 222,000. Continuing claims of those who continue to receive benefits after their initial claim fell 37,000 to 1.84 million. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990.